back the channel. Today we will learn one of the most important topics in Java. This will be data types. Why are data types so important? Because programming about data manipulating, and data is a specific information about object. In programming we can say object like, for example, customers, employers, product, what you want. And for example, you want to store information about your product. For example, this will be product name, product price, how many products have your inventory. And product name will be text format, right? And therefore you must use string data types because string data types store text and your price will be decimal number. And therefore you must use floating point or double data types. Or you want to store how many products have in your inventory. Therefore, you must use integer data type. And don't worry about that. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of all data types in Java. And also, you will know when to use them. Java has two big categories of data types. One of them is primitive data types, others is reference data types. Primitive data types are the basic, but for understanding reference data types, you need to know stack, heap, and Java memory. Therefore, when we talk about stack and heap, I will talk about again reference data types. And I want to start with primitive data types. We can say primitive data types into four categories. One of them is whole numbers, other is decimal numbers, and single characters, and true-false values. For whole numbers, we can say integer types will be byte, short, int, and long. For decimal numbers will be float and double. For single character will be char data types. And for true-false will be boolean data types. I want to start with byte data types. Byte stores small numbers stored between 128 to 127. For declaring any variable, we can say we must write, for example, first data type, this will be byte, and name, for example, I will say age, and after this will be, for example, 25. And we can easily print that with a println method. And you can see we printed that. But I said this store between 128 to 127. If we write byte number equals 129, we can't print that. This will give error because and said required type byte but provided int. And this code said this code will return byte data types but can't return because you didn't provide byte data types, you provide int data types. And you can see int data types, most common integer data types, and store huge numbers. If we say it short, as you see, there's no error. But why this code say you must provide integer data types? Because integer data types most common types, and therefore this write default. And also, if you wanna store huge numbers, and you can use long data types. But end of the number, you must write L suffix. For example, long equals long, for example, ID equals. And you see, if we didn't write L, we will give error. And also say integer number too large. That means we can't store this number with integer. And therefore, when you didn't write L suffix in here, and compiler read this code like a int data type. Talk about boolean data types. Boolean data type store two values. One of them is true other is false. And we can write, for example, boolean check. This will be true, or you can write false. For example, we will write code for understanding clearly. For example, we have two numbers. One of them will be int a equals, for example, 10, and others will be double date types, and will be 5.5, for example, and we can say that like b. And double stores decimal numbers. Also, float store decimal numbers. But like long data types, for declaring float numbers, you need to write f suffix. Okay, but most of case you will use double data types. And after, I will write boolean result. Result will be a bigger than b, and print that. I said boolean result because when I say this code, this will return boolean data types like true or false, and we'll say a if a bigger than b, this will return true. If not, this will return false. And if we want, we can print that. As you see, this returned true. As you see, this code returned true value. Thank you so much for watching this video. In the next video, I will talk about reference data types in Java, and we will talk about strings, array, and object.